Ah, so you've been through the fire, haven't you? Not the kind you warm your hands on, no. The kind that burns everything you thought you were. Every trial, every sleepless night, every moment you wanted to quit, but didn't? Yeah, that's the one. You crawled when walking felt impossible, bled when no one was watching, smiled when your heart was cracking wide open. You played the game when it was stacked against you, and somehow you didn't just survive, you stayed. You didn't bargain, didn't cheat the process, didn't take the shortcut. And now the table's turning. The deal's already signed, sealed, and in motion. What's coming isn't by accident. It's the payout for every moment you thought was pointless but wasn't. Funny thing about surviving the fire, most people think it's it's just about coming out alive. Breathing, walking, smiling for the cameras like nothing happened. But they don't understand. Survival isn't the moment you step out of the flames. It's everything you had to become while you were inside. The fire is tricky. It doesn't just burn your skin. It peels away the parts of you that were pretending. The soft, polite, careful little pieces that didn't belong. It strips you bare until all that's left is the core. Raw, real, unpolished. And suddenly you see who you really are. And maybe you don't like it. Maybe you love it. Either way, you can't unsee it. And let me tell you, when the fire's licking at your heels, it's not asking if you're ready. It doesn't care if you've got a plan, a dream, or a safety net. It wants to know how much you can take before you break, or if you'll keep standing even after you've already cracked. Because surviving isn't just holding on, it's knowing you're already falling apart and still refusing to let the last piece of you hit the ground. You think the fire's the enemy, but it's not. It's the mirror. The one that shows you exactly how much pain you can carry without dropping it. The one that shows you every scar, every fracture, every fear you thought you'd buried. And it whispers, "This is what you're made of. Now what are you going to do about it?" That's the question that matters. Not, why did this happen to me? But now that it did, who am I going to be? Most people, when the heat rises, start looking for the exit. They panic, they beg, they pray for a way out. And when they get it, they run fast, far, never looking back. But the ones who come out different, those are the ones who stood there long enough to feel every spark, every burn, every moment that told them, "You're not done yet." They didn't just survive. They absorbed the fire, let it harden them, sharpen them. So when they walked out, they weren't just alive. They were something else entirely, something untouchable. But here's the sick twist. Surviving the fire isn't about proving you're stronger than everyone else. It's about proving to yourself that no one can take you apart the way you feared they could. Because if the fire couldn't do it, if the thing that was meant to destroy you only rebuilt you, then nothing else stands a chance. You stop being afraid of losing because you already lost everything once and came out with more than you started. It's not pretty. It's not inspiring in the way people like to post about. Surviving the fire means you've been scorched in ways no one else will ever understand. It means you've learned to smile with ashes in your teeth, to stand in silence when the world demands you speak, to move forward without waiting for permission. It means you carry the smell of smoke in your bones, and while others flinch, you breathe it in like air. And maybe the worst part, once you've survived it, part of you almost misses it, because there's a clarity in the chaos, a purity in the pain. Out there, everything's noise, opinions, rules, distractions. But in the fire, it's just you. No lies, no masks, no audience, just the truth. And whether you're strong enough to live with it, that's why surviving the fire is the real test. Not because it's harder than anything else, but because once you've done it, you know exactly what you are. And there's no going back to pretending you're anything less. Funny thing about rewards, people think they're these shiny little gifts wrapped up in golden paper, dropped in your lap just because you've been good. Like the universe is some kind of butler who owes you a tray of champagne for making it through your own mess. But that's not how it works. Oh no, rewards are dangerous. They don't come clean. They're carved out of the same stone that tried to crush you. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake a weapon for a prize. You see, when you've been crawling through the dirt for so long, even a single drop of clean water feels like a miracle. You clutch it. You drink it down. You swear it's the best thing you've ever tasted. But you forget. Too much water after a drought can drown you just as quick. That's what rewards do. They test you. Not in the screaming, clawing way pain does, but in the quiet way comfort does. Comfort's the real predator. It lulls you, rocks you, tells you to rest your eyes just for a moment. And before you know it, you're asleep while your crown slips right off your head. Passing the test. That's one thing. It's the war, the climb, the teeth, bared fight to keep going when every bone in you says stop. But the reward. That's the next battlefield. The moment you loosen your grip, something else will take what you bled for. And sometimes it's not even someone else, it's you. Your own hands undoing your own work. Because you thought you were safe now. Ever notice how the world claps for you when you're still struggling? Keep going, they say. You're strong, they tell you. But the moment you get the prize, they start watching you differently, waiting for you to fall, waiting for you to prove that maybe you didn't deserve it after all. And the worst part is, a part of you starts wondering the same thing. That's the real trap of a reward. It makes you question yourself more than the fight ever did. And it's funny, isn't it? The pain that once kept you awake at night becomes the very thing you miss when it's gone. Because without it, you start to drift. You start to wonder what to do with your hands now that they're not clenched into fists. Some people, they create something new out of it. They build, they grow. But others, they just sit in the glow until it fades. And by the time they notice the darkness coming back, it's already too late. The reward doesn't care about your past. It doesn't remember how hard you fought or how close you came to losing. It only cares about what you'll do with it now. It's a mirror, same as the struggle was, but this time it's polished, bright, blinding. You can't see the scars in it, only your reflection. And if you stare at that reflection too long, you start believing the lie that the fight is over. That's where people make the mistake. They think the reward is the end of the story, the last page, the closing curtain. But sometimes it's just the start of a different kind of fight. One where the enemy isn't trying to take you down. It's trying to make you forget how to stand. And that's worse, because at least when the punches are coming, you know to keep your guard up. But when the world starts feeding you honey, you don't notice the poison mixed in until it's already in your veins. So the real question is, what do you do with the reward? Do you protect it, grow it, or let it sit in your hands until it crumbles into dust. Because no one tells you this. But sometimes the biggest tragedy isn't losing the fight. It's winning it, and then wasting what you fought for. People think rock bottom is the worst place you can be. The cold, hard floor where everything you've built has been stripped away. They think it's the end of the road, the point where you're done for, finished, beyond repair. But that's the funny part. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's just the place where the noise stops. The place where all the lies, the distractions, the little games people play, vanish. And you're left with nothing but the truth, your truth, when you're falling. You don't have time to think. You're clawing at the air, reaching for something, anything, that might break your descent. But when you land, oh, that's when it gets interesting. Because suddenly, there's no one left to blame, no one left to save you. It's just you and the mess you made. That's when the mirror finally shows you what you really look like. Not the version you dress up for others. Not the one you pretend to be. The one with dirt under the nails, cracks in the skin, blood on the hands. The real you. And most people can't stand that sight. They want to scramble out, crawl toward the nearest escape, cover up the reflection as quickly as possible. They think the goal is to get away from rock bottom. But that's the mistake. Rock bottom has something no other place in the world does. It's honest. Painfully, brutally honest. No masks, no applause, no stage lights. Just you and the silence. And the knowledge that everything around you is gone. And if you're clever, you'll see that as the perfect starting point. Because here's the thing. When you've lost everything, you're free. You're not carrying the weight of keeping up appearances. You're not bound by the fear of losing more. You've already lost it. The chains are gone, and that's where power lies. Not in having everything, but in having nothing and realizing you can still move. You can still breathe. You can still stand. And when you do, every step you take from there becomes a choice, not a reaction. But you have to be willing to sit in it first, to feel every sting, every bruise, every bit of the cold. That's the part no one likes. They'd rather numb it, hide from it, pretend they're okay before they even understand what happened. And that's why they keep falling back, because they never learned the lesson that rock bottom teaches, the one about stripping away the unnecessary, about finding out who you really are when there's no one left to perform for. When you're at the bottom, you stop chasing approval. You stop begging for validation because you see the truth. None of that ever kept you from falling. And if it couldn't save you then, why would you spend your life chasing it now? That's when you start to build differently. Not on shaky ground, not on the opinions of people who disappear the moment things get ugly. You build on something solid, yourself, and people will notice. Oh, they will. Not at first. They'll think you've disappeared. They'll think you're gone for good. But when you start climbing, when you start rising without asking anyone's permission, they'll see it. And some of them will hate it. Because you're proof that you don't need their applause to stand. You don't need their hands to pull you up. You learned to use your own. Rock bottom isn't a curse. It's an invitation. It's the universe stripping away the noise so you can finally hear yourself. It's the place where you stop pretending, stop performing, stop lying to yourself about what matters. And once you've been there, once you've walked through the ashes and realized you're still ill breathing, you understand something the people up there never will. You understand that falling isn't the end. Staying down is. You ever notice how people love to talk about second chances, but never mention what they actually cost? They make it sound so sweet, so pure, like some magical reset button where the past doesn't matter anymore. But that's the illusion. The truth is, a second chance is never free. You don't get to just wipe the slate clean without paying for the mess you made the first time. There's always a price. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's trust. Sometimes it's the people you'll never get back. And the cruel part, the world doesn't warn you what the bill is until you're already halfway through trying again. A second chance isn't like starting fresh. No, no, no. It's starting with scars. The kind you can't hide, no matter how much makeup you put over them. The kind that whisper to you in the dark when everyone else is asleep, reminding you what you did or what you failed to do. And the worst part, everyone else can see them too. They may not say it out loud, but they're watching, waiting, wondering if you're going to blow it again. You think a second chance is about proving them wrong. That's the trap. If you live to prove them wrong, you're still letting them control you. That's not freedom. That's just a prettier cage. A second chance should never be about them. It should be about you. About looking yourself in the eye, liking yourself in the eye, and deciding that you're not going to be the same person who lost it all the first time. That you've got teeth now, that you've learned to fight. But here's where it gets ugly, because a second chance will test you harder than the first one ever did. Why? Because now you know what it feels like to lose. And the fear of feeling that again can make you hesitate, can make you hold back, play it safe, take smaller risks just so you don't fall as far. And the irony, that fear, that hesitation, is exactly what makes you fall again. A second chance demands more courage, not less. It's not enough to want it. You have to take it like it's the last drink of water in the desert. And there's this other thing. People think second chances come wrapped in gold, like some grand, obvious opportunity that falls right into your lap. No. Most of the time, they show up looking like work. Hard, dirty, exhausting work. The kind that nobody will applaud you for. The kind that will make you wonder if it's even worth it. But if you keep waiting for the perfect moment to seize it, you'll miss it. And then you're not on your second chance anymore. You're on your last. You've got to accept